yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me because I have been watching a lot of up and coming YouTubers that are XJW. It's like I see a new video almost every week, and
Oh,
you popped up on my algorithm.
oh, cool.
And yes, and when I saw your page, the
Uh-huh.
first thing that like really hit me was that you put that you're like an XJW life coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I've never heard.
I thought I was the only one when I went to coach training. Um, or after I got certified, I was like, oh, maybe I could be a XJW life coach. I've never heard of that before. And then
That's what I'm saying. Like I've never
but
heard of that before.
but when I got on there and I started like getting more into the community, there's a
Mhm.
bunch of them. But I don't know if they say
Okay.
it like that though. I don't know if they say XJW life coach. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I know that you are an XJW, so we'll get to that story in a second. But can
Okay.
you tell me like what kind of motivated you or like made you want to become a life coach and then specifically for
Mhm.
XJWs?
Yeah, so when I first went to coach training, I did it for very selfish reasons. I did it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to spend all this money and I really want to help people, but if I can't, I knew I was going to be okay with it because at least I felt like I could help myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, it was for selfish reasons, but the thing is once I got into that coach training and then I hired my own coach,
Mm-hmm.
I came to the conclusion that I wanted to be a coach for ex Jehovah's Witnesses because and it took me quite a few sessions to figure it out. It was really difficult for me, but how I decided is that I realized all these different things that were wrong or not wrong, but they weren't going great. I wasn't living my best life, and it all
Right.
came down to that indoctrination of as an ex Jehovah's Witness. And so that's why I'm like, that's my thing. That's how I can help people. That's what I know more than anything else. And so I really thought I was the only one. I thought
Yeah.
I was the only XJW life coach. And yeah, there's a lot of them out there. But
That's awesome. So
mhm.
I mean, you're the only one who popped up in my algorithm, like in my
Oh,
algorithm. So that's why I was like, oh, I have to talk to this lady because that's exactly how I feel. It's like the only thing that in my mind that I'm good at or that I know the most of is
yeah,
what I grew up with. Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
JW experience that
yeah,
now coming out, I can only relate to this community more than any other community at like that I can think of.
yeah,
So that's where I'm really close to this community. So
yeah.
how do you feel about that? Like, have you already started talking to XJWs as a life coach and helping them in that arena?
Hmm. Yeah, I have.
Awesome.
I always keep about 3 to 4 clients.
Mhm.
Right now, I work full time corporate, and so 3 to 4 is my max right now. I'd like to go full time life coaching, but I have to make sure I get things kind of set up. But yeah, I have 4 clients, and when they get done, then somebody else comes in, and it takes usually about 9 months to a year until it's like, people are flying. They're doing it on their own because what happens is when I coach with them, the
Mhm.
things that we learn together and what I'm able to teach them, these different skills, they stay with you forever. Like that you learn these things and then you go on and then you can apply them to every other part of your life. You know how sometimes losing weight, they compare it sometimes to money. Like if you can manage your weight, you can
Yeah.
also manage money. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes
Yes.
things are, once you know one, you can keep using this concept.
Wow, yeah, that's a good point.
Mhm.
Okay, so where can people find you if they would like your services? Do you have a website or
Mhm. Yeah,
give me that info and then we'll go into your story.
yeah. I built my website a year ago. So
Awesome.
yeah, so it's up. It's called El Reno Coaching, and yeah, you can go under there under free services. I have um, calls, you can make a consultation call. And if you want to work with me, we can explore that. And then also, I have another one on there that is a coffee chat, which a lot of people, did you use that one too? Maybe you
I
did.
don't know.
But
I
anybody,
have no clue.
if they want to, like, if they want to experience coaching, like, hey, could you coach me? Or, hey, let's just hang out for, half an hour or whatever. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's available too. And I love doing those. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. So
Mhm.
for anybody who's interested, I will put that website and people can book that. They can look more into you. I'll also put your YouTube channel. I'll put all your stuff in the
Okay.
description.
There's a lot of links. There's a lot of stuff.
Yes, yes. If you have anything that you want me to put in there, definitely email me that so I can just copy and paste it, and then
Okay.
people can check you out because I think that is an amazing resource for us because
Mhm.
we sometimes a lot of people don't do that. They don't do therapy
Yeah.
or they don't like they just don't know where to go. And
Yeah.
that was me. I was kind
Yeah.
of lost for a while,
Yeah.
and then I never felt like regular therapy worked. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you
Yeah.
explain?
Some Yeah. For some people it doesn't, and that's what I really promote. So in my Facebook group, it's called I Just Want to Heal and Move On. It's a free group. So this is what I promote, not just life coaching, not just therapy. It's anything that's going to help you.
Right.
We're going to do
Yeah.
whatever it takes, and a lot of my clients, they don't just work with me. They also have a therapist, you
Right.
know,
That's
and
good. Yeah. It's just like supplemental, just to hang out with somebody, talk to somebody who understands there's like that shared experience. We understand it because you were also an ex Jehovah's Witness, and that's what kind of brings us together. Because I couldn't do that. Like I couldn't go to a regular therapist and start explaining a whole cult religion to a stranger, and
yeah,
then
it's
they're
just
just looking at you like
mhm,
in shock that that even exists, let alone
mhm.
all the underlining problems that they probably want to dive into. And it's like, I don't got all day for this. Like I got 3 kids, I gotta go home. Like I just thought like I can't do this right now. But this is why I wanted to talk to you because now it's like I know somebody in our community that
Yeah,
provides this resource. So yeah, definitely thank you
yeah,
for sharing your story to begin with, because I
yeah,
saw that you were motivated to start your channel from another YouTuber. And
mhm.
you mention her quite often. And I want to
I know,
congratulate
she's
you
super.
on your first 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, confetti.
That is
Yeah.
so exciting.
I just got monetized today.
You
Everything
see
happened
so
so
fast. Yeah.
and then I did a whole video. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how would I tell somebody how did I do this?" And I made a whole video on that
Yeah. And I
because
saw your list. Yeah, I saw it.
I I did put the whole list because I wanted to come back to it too and, like, add to it, but the point of me having a YouTube channel and I think that's why you're saying maybe I've only come up on your feed because I don't know any other ex-JW life coaches on YouTube, maybe that's it, but the whole reason that I started this channel was inspired by the person I always mention, her name's Dodash, and
Yep.
she's like, "Listen, you don't have to make it so complicated. It doesn't have to be hard to tell your story." And so I thought, man, I could do this with ex Jehovah's Witnesses because I know how me telling my story was so powerful. I always say it changed my life. Okay, I've had a lot of moments like that where, oh, it's changed my life, but it really did,
Mhm.
because I when I was able to get the story out, the shame sort of like it lifted. Instead of me being hidden under this heavy blanket of shame for decades, I just spoke out. I was so sick of watching or hearing about people around me dying. And I knew it wasn't them. It was the cult that kept them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I felt so frustrated with myself, like, you need to say something because who else is gonna say something?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I heard the story of this girl from North Korea that had escaped, and she was describing on this YouTube video a few years ago about how important it is for us to really tell our stories because how else can we bring awareness to what's going on? I had to say it.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
encouraging my
God. So
audience to say
true.
it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the whole point of the whole channel is like, let's tell our story.
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's what they want us to do. They want to keep us separate. They want us to shun each other. Don't talk to these people. Don't ask them questions, nothing. Just make believe that they are no longer a part of your family or like they don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And once I figured out that we don't have to listen to that, that I can talk to this person, that I have the free will, like I have the freedom to continue talking to that person without that fear.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, like, wow, they were keeping that, they were hiding that from us. Such
Mhm.
great connections, friendships, relationships that
Yeah.
we could have had all this time, but we didn't
Yeah.
because we were listening to these 8 men in New York trickling down these rules. Like when I really realized that, I was
Yeah.
like, I will never let anybody else control who I talk to, where I go, what I wear, what I do. Like that's done. And I
Yeah.
have been able to rebuild my social skills, because before I was just like, oh, I can't talk to you, I can't go here, I can't go there,
Yeah.
like you put so much
Yeah.
restrictions on yourself.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
freedom is
Priceless. Yeah.
yeah, like I can't even describe it. It's amazing
Yeah.
how the world opens up, all these doors and
Yeah.
opportunities open up once you stop with that ugly voice that's saying you can't, you can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? They took away our power. We're like, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do either. And that must be an XJW thing, it has to be. And I'm actually
I
I'm
think
cool with
so.
that. I think it is, like, it's our sort of rebellion maybe? Like, we're teenagers, but we're, like, in our 40s or 30s or whatever,
That's
like,
how I
"No,
felt for a
you
really
can't
long
do
time.
it." And
Yeah, I really
I
did.
I don't wanna tell anybody either. This is another thing about coaching. I don't wanna tell anybody what to do,
Right.
ever. And that's what is the coolest thing about coaching, because all I do is help people talk it out, to get it out, like, what is it? What is the thing that is really tripping you up? What's stopping you? For you, right?
Yeah.
It's very individual to you, and once you
Mhm.
know that, and once it comes out, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I got it," you know?
Right. Yeah, you help them to think, and then
Yeah,
they can do it on their own. You don't have to
yeah,
tell people what to
no,
do or how to think. Yeah, that's very
no, I
freeing.
don't yeah, it is freeing, and it's something you can take with you forever, like I was saying. It's that's why I love it, because I didn't want somebody telling me, "Oh, this is what you need to do,"
Mm-hmm.
'cause I and that's what I say all the time. We have been coerced and forced and pushed around way too long, and especially as women, that's my little soft spot in my heart is for women, and
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, I I I I don't like even on my consultations, I'm like, "Listen, I'm not here to sell you, but I am gonna sell you on yourself, that I think you're amazing
Yeah.
and way more incredible than you ever could imagine," but I don't like that feeling of, "Hey, this is gonna be great for you," or "You need this." It's like, I don't like that for myself, and so I don't do that with anybody in my group, clients, anybody. It's no pressure. It's like, "Okay, cool, whatever," you know?
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so that's the first video that I ever saw on my algorithm, and it was entitled um I think something at 49 years old. Like I started a YouTube channel at 49 or something like that with the number 49. I clicked on it so fast when I saw like the XJW. Yeah, because I was like, hold up a second. And then when I started watching you, I was like, wow, hold up. Like you have so much life experience, and then you throw it to us on YouTube and you give
Yeah,
us another title, another video, another, like I love the
every
everyday
day.
strategy. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that. I love that.
yeah, okay, cool.
Love
Because
it.
let me tell you how I came up with this real quick, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really believe in that book, James Clear, he wrote it, Atomic Habits.
Hmm.
That book is you have to read it. You have to. If anybody has not read that, it'll change your life. I'll keep saying that.
Okay.
Um, but what it is, it's like those little habits that you do every day. And for me, that really that I can do that because I thought, well, shoot, I do a Facebook Live on, Facebook and sometimes Instagram. Like, why can't I just do one video on YouTube? I felt like I had so much to say that there's no way that I could write it all out. But I thought
Right.
I could say it, and I know if when I do voice, voice memos and stuff, it's so much faster, right?
Yep.
I'm like, this is a way we can really like, let's go. And that's what the lady Dodash, she had, Latoya, she had said, do it every day, make it a habit. So I love
Yeah.
that because some people are like, oh, I look for your video in the morning with breakfast or whatever. I'm like, that's
Yeah, that consistency, it keeps me going on. Like, I want to know more. I want to know more. And you give us that little dose of, okay, I'm going to talk about this. And then the next video, we'll talk about that later. But you really dive into this. I love that.
oh, thank you.
Yes, I love that. And I think that is the key to you to any YouTube success
Mhm.
is everyday consistency. Keep
Yeah,
it up,
yeah.
and you will gain those subscribers or like whatever. So I love how you kind of incorporate the XJW, the coaching, and then also like this is how you're gonna succeed at YouTube. Like you're doing a lot of different things, and I love that. I love that
Really?
too.
Okay, because I
Yes.
just don't know how else to be because that's sort of what I'm passionate about.
Exactly. That's the point is to know what you're passionate about and then go full blown into it. Like dive into it and don't stop. Keep doing what you're doing cuz it's working. And you
Oh,
stay true to yourself all the time too. Like you said, be authentic, no
mhm,
editing, no this, no that. Like that's what I
mhm,
do too. I don't
uh-huh,
plan anything. I just talk as I go. I do it as I go. I go
yeah,
live and I'm like, this is it. This is me, no
mhm,
filter, no curtain, no nothing. You're getting the full
awesome. Yes,
experience.
and that's what we're doing right now, just so people know. We just set up this appointment, and here we are. I don't know, maybe
Right,
it takes there is maybe something to that. I don't know if people need coaching around that to, how do you just do that? You just do it.
right.
You just
Yeah.
do it. Even when you have butterflies in your stomach, and even when you feel like you're gonna barf, you just do it. And that's sort of my method of getting things done when I don't. Yeah,
Yeah. You throw yourself. And then you
yeah,
figure it out later. Don't always like
yeah,
plan everything and then you set yourself up for disappointment or like, oh, I didn't meet this deadline. Like I don't put that on myself anymore. I
yeah,
just go with the wind and with the day and just let it come to me. Like I
yeah,
stopped
yeah,
trying to control everything.
yeah.
And I just let it go. And I've been seeing such a major difference.
It's
So,
so good. Yeah, and then you can just ease up, and then things they're gonna flow. Yeah, I talked with another XJW YouTuber, and we call it gag and go. It's like, okay, I think I'm gonna barf. Okay, go for it. you know, like here I am.
yes,
Yeah.
because I think we're like afraid.
Mhm.
And that's another like XJW thing that I that's, like thing as well
Mhm.
is that we were like always afraid to do things. If
Yeah.
it was brand
Yeah.
new or if it's never done before, we're
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm gonna go the route that everybody else has gone and had a outcome. We never go into like the unknown or just push ourselves to do something that we probably never thought for ourselves. Like we don't reach for higher, we don't
Yeah.
reach for more. So when
Yeah.
it comes to this kind of stuff, we can be afraid. Like there's not that many people that can just do what we do or do
Yeah.
what another YouTuber does. You know what I like?
Yeah.
That's why I love all of us in our community because I can
Me
see
too.
you, I can see all these other YouTubers, and I'm like,
Oh,
I admire them
yeah.
because I don't know if I can do that, but I love them for it. Like I love to see it.
Yeah, yeah, and we all have so much to contribute. That's the thing about it. And even though, like I said, there's so many XJW coaches, they're all
Right,
so different.
right.
They're all so different. We all come with this whole past experience, our Jehovah's Witness experience, us, like, how did we leave? I mean, everybody has such a different story. And then you mix that with some sort of coach training. It's different training for everybody
Mm,
and our wisdom that we've learned. And
mm,
that's why there's room for everybody. There's no competition
exactly.
at all. At all. There's room for everybody, and that's what I want everybody to know. Tell your story. At least, at the very least, tell your story if you can. If it's safe, like I'm not trying to promote people saying things that, you know what I mean? It has to be conscious and safe, but I think there's so much power in our voices, and that's what they try to keep away from us. I was already woke up, and it was a couple years later, and I'm like, it took somebody dying for me to be like, I need to say something. I am so
Mm,
sick of this.
wow.
Yeah. And that's when I was like, that's it. I am speaking out because I am so sick of people dying, and I am so sick of the governing body controlling me,
Yep.
and I'm awake. I was like, "Can I say F that? F that."
Wow. Yeah. So yeah, take me there. What was your awakening? And
Oh,
yeah, yeah, tell me, how did you wake up?
yeah. So I was married to a Jewish guy for 10 years.
Mhm.
Okay. Disfellowshipped, raised in the organization, disfellowshipped at 16 when my stepdad abused me. Okay. In and out of the organization for many years because after he abused me, then, I just abused myself for years and years and years. So yeah, then I had married a Jewish man. We were together for about 10 years or so, celebrating the Jewish holidays and things like that. I thought was kind of cool. It was different. Because I
Yeah,
love that point,
definitely.
like reading in the Bible of like, how did that go? Like, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then when we split up, I was like, how come you don't believe in Jesus? you know, I was like, so all of a sudden, I'm so curious about why doesn't he believe in Jesus? And I started, we had split up and I started going back to the meetings and stuff. Or no, I started studying.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to ask him and he's like, listen, just read Deuteronomy.
Hmm.
I don't, and it's funny with Jewish people that they're not ever trying to convert you. They're just like, I don't care if you believe
Right.
not, whatever, which I think is really cool. So I read Deuteronomy at sitting down at my desk and read through the whole thing in a few hours or so. And I just came to the conclusion that all of these rules and all of this stuff that was so crazy, like just reading through is just through like sort of fresh eyes. I'm thinking, this is so for him. This is so perfect for him. But I just read that book and I was like, this ain't for me. And so
Mm.
I don't know. That's just how I felt about it. This is not for me. And so then I started like, oh, I'm going to dig into the scriptures. So I'm going to get on YouTube.
Yep.
Okay. And we went down the rabbit hole of, I started watching this Jews for Jesus rabbi.
Hmm.
I just wanted to know, like, I don't understand why they don't believe in Jesus. I just don't get it. And so I started going down that rabbit hole. And then it's just one thing led to another. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing Mr. Jackson there on the stand lying his ass off. And I was in shock. I watched
Yep.
the video right while I was just pulling into work because I had listened to it on the way.
Hmm.
And then I remember parking and like, I had to rewind it. I was like, oh my God. That's when my whole life kind of flashed before my eyes. Like I
So
knew
that's 2015, right? When that came out?
that, well, and maybe, but I didn't see it until later. I didn't see it till,
Oh, okay, okay. 2019, you saw it.
yeah, yeah. That's when
Oh,
I saw it. And then I rewound it. I remember listening to it again. I was just floored because I knew how I had been treated.
hmm,
I was disfellowshipped at 16 because my stepdad abused me. And for all of those people out there watching this right now, all of you Jehovah's Witnesses, because I know how they think and I know how I've been talked about. Oh, she's a whore. The one
yeah.
told me, oh, she said, oh, if you were my daughter, I would kill you. That's what somebody from the Kingdom Hall told me. I was shocked.
What? And you
Yeah.
was 16 at the time when she said that?
Yes, I was made out to be, I say it like this, like a 16-year-old virgin temptress. I have pictures of me when I was 16. Honey, I was not a temptress, okay?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
It's crazy. And then I just heard another story come out on YouTube yesterday. She was on TikTok and on YouTube, and she had the same experience. She had been sexually assaulted, and then guess what? Shunned.
Right.
And she needed people.
Yeah, there's too many
Wasn't
stories like that.
Ah, and then for me, I carried around that shame for decades, thinking I was somehow. it was my body that was the problem. If I wasn't so, beautiful or, shapely, or, I felt like
Right.
I had to hide myself for years because I
Mm-hmm.
was afraid that my body was a problem.
Right. And that can induce like self-hatred.
It
I
did.
mean, I would assume like it makes you want to hate yourself. Like you don't want to, like you said, you want to bury yourself. You don't want to.
Yeah, it did. It caused a
Wow.
lot of problems for a lot of years. I've been through something I don't talk about much is my eating disorders that I've had over the years. And then, toxic relationships. Like I was used to being treated badly, you know, and not
Wow.
being protected. So it caused a lot of problems. And so that's, all of these things, me growing up really poor to, all of these things kind of together, it just, and then with me, with the coach training, it's like the light bulb went on. Like, that's the problem. The problem
Mm-hmm.
wasn't me, but I carried it around for years thinking I'm a big problem.
Wow, yeah, that's devastating. I saw you did speak about that on your channel,
Mhm.
like how you grew up and your experience when you were, growing up, a little bit about that. You were just fellowshipping. Um, I have to go back to your channel and watch more about that's the abusive side. I think you did talk about
Mhm.
it, but I don't think I watched it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back and I'm gonna watch that. And I encourage everybody else as well. If you want more details into Elle's story, go to her YouTube channel and watch those videos
Thank you.
because that's a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's really heavy and it's a
It is
lot.
amazing.
And that's why I'm glad you did it yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
were in the camera, you're talking to the world, you're giving your story. Cause sometimes I find it hard to like say all that heavy stuff in like telling somebody else you went through that. Cause
I
it's
know,
just
like how I
a
just did,
lot.
like how I
No,
did.
no, no. I know.
Yeah.
I enjoy it because I already saw it. I'm like
Mm,
I wait for the person to say it themselves first,
mm.
and then I'm like, okay, I want to interview as you as well to shit to like amplify your own
Ah,
message
we got it.
because you already said it. You know what I mean? But like if you go on somebody else's channel and you start saying all this like crazy stuff, it's a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like
It is, and it is a lot
I'm
of crazy stuff.
yeah, I'm glad you did it for yourself and like for your
Yeah,
channel. I'm
yeah.
glad you did it.
Thank you. And the reason that I did things that way, and anybody can go and watch and see how I did it, but I thought, man, I'm almost 50 years old. I have a lot of things to tell. I have a lot of stories to tell. There's a lot of pieces. And so what I did is I just started by, okay, I'm just going to start from birth until whenever I feel like stopping talking. And that was about 15
Right.
minutes. And I was
Good
like,
idea.
"Okay, tomorrow we'll continue," you know?
Yeah,
And
no, that's awesome.
that's
I
how I
like
did.
that.
And
Yeah.
it was pretty emotional. I would just tell anybody that wants to do something like this, you give yourself a lot of space and grace and love, and because I started feeling, like, kinda heavy telling my story like that, and I'm like, "Wow, why do I feel, like, just heavy?" It's like, "Oh, yeah, this is heavy. This is heavy because 'cause I'm sort of reliving it a little bit, you know?"
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Because sometimes I used to think that I was over this. I
Yeah,
handled this. I'm
yeah,
over it. And sometimes it doesn't trigger me anymore. But then there'll be that one thing that you unknowingly do something or hear something or you come across a video or something like it just pops up and you
yeah,
get triggered and you don't know why. Like I thought, oh, I took care of myself, I worked on myself, it's
yeah,
been this long, like I thought I was over this, and then I'm like, oof, it I think I still need to. So
yeah.
I think it's a lifelong thing. I don't think
I was
you
gonna
could
say,
put.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at
Right.
all. I don't
Hmm.
think I think that it's a problem when people think that they're just gonna be healed. Have we seen
Right.
this? You're healed, that's not gonna happen. This is a
Right.
lifelong, I believe too, this is a lifelong practice of starting and learning to love ourselves first.
Right.
Part of
Yep.
loving ourselves means that We love all the parts of ourselves, and they're not all going to reveal themselves at one time. It's going to happen over time, forever.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that is
Right.
true.
Yeah.
So you saw the ARC, you saw Brother Jackson lying. I remember watching that and being shocked as well. And that was the last straw for you. And then what happened after that?
Oh, that was it. That was it. What happened after that? Okay, so I was going to meetings,
Mhm.
um, and I just, I just kind of went cold on everything. I knew that I had to keep going to meetings because I was wrapped up in childcare with a witness family because yeah,
Yep.
they took me in kind of like family. So I was wrapped up. I had a daughter. I'm a single mom. Like I need the childcare. And so I'm like, geez, how am I going to get out of this thing? But every meeting I would go to, it's like, I started to like slack a little bit. I started to like break the rules a little,
Mm-hmm.
wearing my blouse down a little. No skirt. You know what I mean? Like I started to be like a little, I'm like,
Taking risks.
I have to watch that, sister. Just
Yeah.
things like, not going out in service and when we would do comments at the meeting, like I remember sometimes I would love to do how those little memes are on Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
All sorts of different memes. So instead of
Yep.
like the scripture, I'd be like I'm like, oh yeah, and then I saw on Instagram this meme. It said blah 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 blah. This is what I would do at
Wow.
the Kingdom Hall. But what are they going to do? Because when I had come back to the Kingdom Hall, I had been gone for a long time. So
Mm-hmm.
when I came back, it was in a brand new congregation, and so they're like, oh yeah, she's new. So they give me a little space because they're like, yeah, she's a little off. Because it wasn't but just 2 years in of me going to meetings that I woke up. And so I'm glad I'm
Okay.
back. Yeah.
So after you were DF, so you were a minor, right? You were 16 when you
Mhm.
got DF,
Yeah.
and then you came back later in life. Did you have to get reinstated and then continue going to meetings and things like that?
Yeah, I've had somebody point this out to me on YouTube. "Oh, well, you've been in and out, and it sounds like you're very, you know, like you can't be trusted."
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else out there, like, come on. There's so many people. I got disfellowshipped at 16. I probably
Mm-hmm.
got reinstated when I was 17. I remember it was like a year. Then I got kicked out again. I got disfellowshipped again, probably a couple of years later. And then I faded because I figured it out. You only have to do it once to figure out, oh, okay, I know how I do this next time. So I
Right.
faded. And then when I came back, a few years even later, I just kind of popped in and like, oh, it was always a back and forth thing. And so by the time that I hit a super low point in my 40s, I was 40 years old. I was pregnant with twins and pretty destitute. And I thought, man, I've really messed up my whole life. I need Jehovah bad. And so that's what I did. I did what I knew how to do. I knew where I could go to
Exactly.
the community. So, of course, I went back to the Kingdom Hall. Of course I did.
Right.
And I'm glad I did. You know what? Because I did actually kind of need community. I really did. And
Mm-hmm.
that it was good for me for that time being because I really got to settle and like reassess my life. And then I started waking up.
There you go. Yep.
Everything started, because all this whole time I'm beating myself up my whole life, thinking I've ruined my life. I've ruined all my kids' lives. I'm just a total screw up. But when I
Right.
wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's that. That's the problem.
Wow. Wow. So you were DF twice. Then you
Mhm.
faded later. You came back with your kids because you basically didn't have a choice. Like sometimes I feel like sometimes we don't have a choice. Like it's either you go back and you can use and the community that the only one you know, the only one that
Yeah,
you can trust at that time,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we're supposed to be viewing the world as scary and
yeah,
satanic and worldly. So why would I trust any other community? So
mhm,
sometimes we don't really have a choice. We have to go back to what we know, and now
yeah,
you have kids and it's just different. It's like
yeah.
would you risk that and go back, like take the L and just go back, or would you go the other way, go by yourself with your kids alone with nobody? Like that's the hard lesson that I learned
Yeah.
because I was that was like the fork in the road for me. I had to
Yeah.
choose:
Yeah.
am I gonna go back to my mother and know that she's a Jehovah's Witness, very fanatical, and I'm gonna accept these terms living in her house? She made it very clear. Or am I going to take the other road and take all of my kids, go through the struggle, maybe become homeless again, who knows, and just move away and start brand new and
Mhm.
just hope for the best? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you have this
Yeah.
decision that you have to make,
Yeah.
and it's hard. It's hard
And
for us.
I did that before. That's the thing that okay, I'll be 50 next year, so I have yeah, being disfellowshipped a few times, fading, coming in and out. I know how to do that. We all know how to do that. And so at that time, yeah, I decided I'm gonna go back. I need the support. And it was my mom's dying wish. Oh my gosh, she put a guilt trip on me in her deathbed and asked for me to return to Jehovah. And so I always had that weighing on my heart, and I thought, man, I really messed things up. I need to do what my mom told me to do. Maybe then my life wouldn't be so terrible, you know?
Wow, yeah, that's kind of sad sometimes because you feel it's like an emotional thing. That's how they reel you back. It's like
Mhm.
an emotional thing to reel you back like that.
Mhm. Guilt trip
Oh
from the grave.
yeah, oh my goodness, yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, and because you don't want to be the type to say, oh, what if I should have done this or I should have done that.
Right.
Maybe it would have gone this way. Maybe. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be like concrete.
Yeah.
Yes, this was the right decision
Yeah.
because I did that too.
Uh-huh.
I went back home. I went back with my mom, took my son, left my son with her, had to go to work, no choice, have to make money, can't really have a say in
Yeah.
because you're depending on them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're Jehovah's Witnesses. You just have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
And it was just horrible. It was horrible. And I
Yeah.
felt like I wasted all of this time depending on other people when
Uh-huh.
maybe I could have taken the harder way and did it myself. Who
Mhm.
knows? You know what I'm saying? So that what if got
Yeah.
me like my mind thinking, let me try this again and let me just try this. I did it
Mhm.
their way and it
Uh-huh.
didn't work. I ended up 10 steps behind when I was trying to
Mhm.
move forward. And
Yeah.
it's like all they ever did was keep me stagnant. They kept me
Yeah.
in the same place. I couldn't achieve more, even though I was like trying. I was like doing my best. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I have a
Quicksand.
job. I have this. I have, they're like, what is it? Like you said, I finally realized it's this, it's them. This is what's holding me back. And once I got rid of that factor,
Yeah.
it it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to pay the price of that.
Yeah.
But at the end, 10 years later, and like now you're looking back on your life, it
Right.
was worth it. But you would
Yeah.
have never been able to see that if you didn't take that chance.
Yeah. And it's about the journey. I say, oh, it's the journey. But like think about it. How much did you learn about yourself on that journey? That's the whole point. That's why we have to take the risk and do things that we've never done before. Because we're never gonna see that version of us if we don't. Yeah,
Exactly.
I can go, girl.
It's yeah, I don't think any other community would understand this except like X and then put a blank ex Mormons, X that like X any cult. They're
Yeah,
the only ones who would be able to understand that
uh-huh,
because the bottom line that all of us have in common
yeah,
is shunning. Like other cults also shun. So
yeah,
it's like that's the main consequence that we're always going to deal with is that if
mhm,
you understand that if
mhm,
you do things your own way, you're going to be labeled and then you're going to get shunned. So
yeah.
if you're okay with that, congratulations, you got your freedom. But you know what I'm saying? Like I had to really understand that because I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking, oh, they would never shun me. They would never
yeah,
do this to me. My
yeah,
mom loves me. She says
mhm,
she will never leave me. But
yeah,
when it came to religion, when it came to
mhm,
this, she
mhm,
was more than happy to drop me and
mhm.
and forget about me like as if I didn't
Sorry.
exist.
I'm
But
sorry.
that's the
I know.
yeah, no, that's okay. But that's the realization. You know what I mean? Like if she would have never done that, if
Yeah.
these people would have never shown their true colors, I would have just kept these fake relationships or friendships and
Ah,
and
I
for
see.
years. Like I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I love that you said it that way. That was really cool. Because it really woke you up more to just more than just the religion. It woke you up to, yeah, about love. What is love in your family? Loyalty.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. It woke me up to um how people can really be. Even if it's your family, they can backstab you, and they probably will if
Mhm.
they feel like that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I'm looking at myself in the mirror like I would have never done this to them. So what is it? I had to like really dig deep. Like, so why am I the only different one, but everybody else is in agreement
Mhm.
to throw this one person away when I would have never done that to any of my family members?
Right.
So that's when I realized that I kind of broke out of that indoctrination without even knowing it. Like I mentally broke away from that.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, thankfully, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
I know, me too. I feel the same. Yeah.
yeah,
It was rough,
you
but it was, like, so needed. Because my life was a
exactly.
mess for years.
Right.
Ruby, telling you, a mess.
I
That's
know.
my story as a witness. I was a really good witness for 16 years, and then I was just a hot mess for the next few decades.
Right, right. And
Oh, it was.
sometimes it takes longer for others. You know what I mean? Like that's why I like when you came out on YouTube and
Mhm.
you came out with a bang. Like, I'm 49. I'm starting a YouTube channel. It's never too late. I'm also an ex Jehovah's Witness. Like you laid it out for everybody because I was like, a lot of people wake up older in life and they feel like, oh, I wasted all of my time. My own kids sometimes shun their parents. You know what I'm saying? Like they have so many of these regrets. Whereas when I'm looking at other people telling their story, it validates that I did the right thing at a younger
Mhm.
age. Because I
Oh.
used to think like, I don't know anything in life. I'm too young. I didn't go to
Mhm.
school. I didn't go to college.
Yeah,
Like maybe these people know more than me because they're older than me. Maybe I should
yeah,
just trust them because they're older than me. You know, like they put that in us, like to respect
yeah,
your elders.
yeah.
You know, you listen to your mom. You know what I
Don't
mean? Like
ask questions.
they do that to us that makes you doubt yourself that, oh,
Yeah.
you're too young, you don't know anything, you can't take care of these children by yourself, you
Mhm.
need us, you need Jehovah, you
Yeah,
need the kingdom hall.
yeah,
So you grow up thinking, I need this to be successful, to raise my kids. I
yeah.
need Jehovah, I need the kingdom hall to raise them. and
Uh-huh.
i and I said, no, I don't. And I guess I'm gonna have to figure it out later. So when I see women, especially women like you,
Uh,
it validates that for me, that
yeah,
even though I didn't know what I was doing,
yeah,
I know that this woman right here, if she
uh,
would have known what she knew at my age, she would have done the exact same thing.
yep,
But she did
yep,
it later on in life with kind of the same circumstances,
yeah,
kids, you
yeah,
felt you were single, you was alone, you've been through abuse, like different background, but you would have probably done the exact same thing
yeah,
if you knew what you knew now, if you knew it then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, how cool. I love that. I've had a few women talk to me, and they talk there's, like they think of me like a ex Jehovah's Witness mama on YouTube, and
I
I just
saw
that's
that.
so
I saw that.
cool. I'm like, "That's exactly who I wanna be," you know? Because I needed that. So when I talk to my
Exactly.
audience, I'm talking to 30-year-old me, I'm talking to 16-year-old me. I'm talking to that version of me that I needed that. So that's exactly right. So I'm glad that that resonated with you. That's really sweet.
Oh yeah, that's why I like having people like you that wanna like put your like services out there. You put your story out there because that's what's gonna resonate to a 28-year-old,
Yeah.
XJW like me, who's super young, had to grow up really quickly. Like you've talked about these things. You
Mhm.
had a child at a young age. You
Yep.
had all of these things that you had to do at a young age. I had to do the exact same things. You have to grow up fast.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
sometimes you realize like nobody actually really cares about you. You got to care about yourself. You
Yeah.
got to work and do and you got to do the hard work,
Yeah. Yep.
cuz unfortunately we didn't have that system. We didn't have that family support. We didn't have what a lot of other people have. So we
Mhm.
have to start out all the way over here. Where some
Yeah.
people start over here, we're starting over here, but we
Yeah.
can still make it. Like it's not over. It's
But
not over.
you know what I think too? You're exactly right. It's not over. And who's gonna appreciate it more than us?
Yeah.
Come on, tell me. Who's going
Yeah.
to appreciate a life, free life, more than an ex-Jehovah's Witness? I just don't know. You tell me,
Yeah.
you know?
No, that's true. Especially our kids, because
Mhm.
that generation will never have to go through the experiences that we're talking about. They won't even have a clue. Like my
Like,
kids
what?
will, they've never even stepped foot in a kingdom hall. They don't even know what that is. So when they hear me talk about these things, they're like, "Wow, that's interesting," and it makes sense to them why they don't have their grandma or in their life, or they don't have this family that they see other families. They have grandparents, they have cousins, they have, all these people, and they just have us, like we're just our own family.
Yeah.
So for them, it also, they appreciate it, but I think we appreciate it even more
Mhm.
because I don't take things for granted anymore.
Mm-mm. Me neither.
I take that so seriously. Like
Yeah.
like just being able to go to another church and learn about somebody else's faith. I
Mhm.
take it seriously. Like I'm not here, trying to play games or be disrespectful. I want to learn about what you believe in and why you believe in it. Like I question things now.
Mhm.
And I'm like forward. I'm blunt. I'm like, I'm here to understand. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm not just some other person on the street. I'm a little different, and I'm okay with that. Like I
Mhm.
don't take those things for granted. I'm not here to
Yeah.
waste time. I'm trying to
Yeah.
catch
Ooh,
up.
that's another one. That's another one. No wasting time. I mean, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, whoa, wait, what? My life is gone. Okay. What do I want to do now? Oh, I remember my heart was beating so fast. It was just in my stomach kind of sank. I was like, there's no paradise.
Oh yeah, that was a big one for me. Yeah. So how did you feel when you found out that their version, well, this is how I justify it for myself, is like their version of paradise doesn't exist, because I tried to salvage Christianity, and
Uh-huh.
that's just my way of keeping my sanity. Like I was
Mhm.
very nihilistic. I was an atheist for a while, and I thought like this is all we're going to experience and that's it. No, there's got to be something else. You know what I mean? So I kind of justified it by saying, okay, maybe their version is wrong. Let me see what these people believe in.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so how did you feel when you found out that the Jehovah's Witness perception
Uh-huh.
of paradise is gone? How did you feel?
I just it was huge. It was almost like it hit me kind of like hearing Jackson on the stand, you know? It hit me like that where yeah, like it was a oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just felt like I have to start living like now. You know, it was like this
Wow.
urgency. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to go there. I want to talk to this person. I want to do that. And I really have. And in fact, when I say, "Oh yeah, last year I designed my website," I mean, I'm
Mhm.
telling you, when I do something, oh, I do it, honey.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I meant. I do it 100%.
100%, like pedal to the metal. And the thing that my coach has to help me with is slowing down and taking breaks and resting. Because if it wasn't for her, I would probably burn myself out.
Yep. Yep.
I want to do all the things. And we can do all of the things. We can. We still have time.
Right. That, yeah. At the same time, I don't want to waste time. I'm also not in a rush because I don't believe Armageddon is going to come at any minute.
Okay. Yeah,
So
that's good.
that right there helps me
Yeah.
to pace myself,
Yeah.
because I burn myself out almost every single day. And but it's not like I'm doing it to myself. It's kind of like involuntary,
Yeah.
because I'm the only person in my family, in my household, with
Yeah.
3 kids. So you're
Yeah.
gonna burn yourself out almost every other day because you just don't have any help. But at
Yeah.
the same time, I pace myself. I understand that not everything has to be done right now. Let's
Yeah.
take it easy.
Good.
Let's,
See, you got
like you
it.
just said.
You got it. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's just listening and honoring your body, like really tuning in. Like, what is that feeling? Do I need a nap?
And
You need
oh,
some tea, honey? Like, what is it you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we just have to stop and like just take a break, which you're right. That is nice because yeah, Armageddon's not coming. So why not take a little rest? Because we want to make it
right.
sustainable and not like boing and then crash, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one thing that I started doing. I started hugging myself.
Me
I don't
too.
Really?
Do you
Because
see
I
me
don't
give you hugs online?
see what?
Do you see me give you hugs? That's how we do sometimes. We can hug ourselves right now. Like sometimes
Oh, I'm
in
gonna have
my
to watch.
videos, I'm like, okay, let's give a big hug.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you do that because I was thinking to myself one night that I really missed the hugs that this one sister used to give
Mm,
me in the Kingdom Hall, right? She was the only one that would hug you and she would say, "Nope, stay right here." And she would wait literal a minute and a half and then she would let you go. But that
mm,
right there, it would bring my blood pressure down. It would calm me down.
mm.
And it wasn't like a quick pass, like how you're just trying to say hi to everybody at the Kingdom Hall. And I used to remember her because of her hugs. And then
Aw.
one night I said, let me just hug myself. And I was just like, this feels
This is good.
amazing. Like I can hold myself. Like I never knew that I could shake my own hand or hug myself because
Mm.
I've just been alone for that long that you just sometimes you figure things out that you could that self-soothing, that's what it's called,
Mhm,
self-soothing.
mhm.
So once I figured that out, I started hugging myself
Yeah,
and I start massaging myself. And I
yeah,
do these exercises and those neck exercises and I release all that tension because I was
nice.
like, I feel so tight. Sometimes I'm snappy or angry and I don't know why. And it's like I don't want to live like that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like just
yeah,
because you're going through what you're going through doesn't mean you have to be a you know, angry all the time or take it out on people or be argumentative or
yeah,
aggressive. Like, no, I wanted that inner peace. And I'm like, how do I get that? How do I
yeah.
get that peace?
That's all we have to do is hug ourselves? Is that what you're telling us?
I think so.
I think so
I
too.
unlocked it because I was like, wow, I remember her for her hugs. And once I unlocked that self care, but
Yeah,
like physically massage yourself,
uh-huh,
like touch yourself, as like I came back to reality, like down to earth. I wasn't always in my mind, with
grounding.
all these running thoughts and just having that anxiety and depression. Because
Mhm,
when I found out that paradise like doesn't exist or is not going to exist,
yeah,
instead of like what you described, like now I want to do everything, I
yeah.
went the opposite side of
Did
the
you?
spectrum. I did, and
Okay,
I got like really depressed
okay.
and suicidal. Like, well,
Oh,
if I'm not like if I don't have the prospect of living forever
mhm,
or being able to be one of the righteous ones, or
mhm.
like that's how they condition us as witnesses, like we're going to be the ones walking through paradise and we're
Yeah,
going to be the chosen one. I'm like, if I don't have that anymore, then what am I here for? I don't want
mhm,
to be in this world with all these wars and death and starvation, like how they condition us, how bad the world is.
yeah,
And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And
mm,
I for a long time I was like that.
right,
And then I had to snap myself out of it, like literally, because I
mhm,
was like, I'm not gonna I have 3 kids and they're too young, like they were all under the age of like 5 or 6. So
mhm,
that's way too many kids that are way too young with a depressive mother like that. I was like, no, I can't do that. I can't. I cannot project that type of trauma onto these new people who have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Like they're looking at the world like, mommy, let's go here, let's do this, let's do that. And I'm like, I don't want to be a drag, like I
yeah,
want to be able to experience life with them and take
yeah.
them places and celebrate the holidays. And that's how I snapped myself out of it. I had to
Aw,
change like my world view.
yeah,
Like not everything in this world is bad. You
mm,
can have fun, you can make friends, celebrate the holidays. Like even though it was so hard for me to do that because I
yeah,
felt it was pagan still, I just did it anyways because it
there you
made me
go.
feel happy.
I love this theme that's running throughout your life.
Yeah.
Have you noticed it?
I think I have. You know how they used to say um that Jehovah makes things happen, or like thank Jehovah when something good happens in your life.
Mm,
And I always used to say to myself, well, Jehovah didn't do anything. I did it. I was the one who did the work. I was the one who had to think for myself, ask these questions and
mhm,
challenge people of authority, who put themselves as authority, like elders or my mom or
mm,
like whoever was trying to confine me. I
right,
was the one who pushed those boundaries. It wasn't Jehovah. I
yeah,
did that. So it's like once I started realizing that you can give yourself credit sometimes,
mm,
and I mean, you could thank God, of course, but you did that. Like once I realized it
and
was me,
mhm,
that's when I was like, I can do more. If I did this,
Uh-huh.
I can go a step further.
And you did it when it was really, really, really hard. There's something to that, Ruby. I mean,
You think
that
so?
is,
What's your opinion?
that's how successful people are made. That's how you that's one of the things, one of the, what do I want to say, to success is like doing things when it's really fucking hard.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because people who are comfortable are never going to do anything. They're never going to change. They're going to continue habits, continue a routine. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, people who put themselves in discomfort
Yeah.
to move forward.
Yeah. And listen, here's the thing about it. That's where our brain wants to keep us. It wants to keep us kind of in the same low vibe state that the witnesses had us in.
Yep.
That, to be in low vibe like that, is where they kept us for so long. That is comfortable.
Yeah. And safe too. You feel safe, you feel secure, you feel like I don't need to do anything. I'm good.
Yeah, let's not do anything. I always say, let's lay in bed with our cat and read a book and eat ice cream. To me, that
Yeah.
sounds awesome. But then what? Because, that's great. That's good. Okay. But where do you want to be at the end of your life when you look back? I mean, what do you,
Yep.
what do you want to, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to say is like, wow, I did this amazing thing, or like I tried and I went for it? Or do you want to say, oh, I probably should have done that, but I never did because,
Exactly.
yeah, that's how you get to that place, like what you're saying, doing it when it's really hard. That will develop you like no other. That is the journey. That is what people talk about when they're like, it's the journey. It's who you become along the way. You become that person where you can do anything. Doesn't matter how
Right.
hard it is.
Yep.
Own
And
that.
yeah, and that's why I like this other XJW YouTuber. His name is Jerron Benton. I don't know if you have
Mm.
seen have you seen his videos?
Do you know what? He's coming
What?
over to my house tomorrow.
No way! No
Yeah,
way!
and then do you know Justin from XJW Diaries?
Yes.
Yeah, they're both coming over. I'm gonna make dinner and we're gonna do an interview. Mm.
Oh my God, that is amazing. Yo, what are the chances that I would have brought his name up right now? Because when you were saying that, Jerron always pops into my head because
Really?
he always makes these good videos and
Yeah,
he talks about that, like not having regrets
yeah.
and doing what you want to do in this life because it's
Oh,
the
he
only
does.
one we got.
He's such a preacher of that. I love it too. Yeah.
Yes, it's that positivity that keeps us like reminding ourselves that we can do it. Whatever you want to do it. And I saw him going to DC for the protest. I saw him traveling. He did like a whole American tour. I was like, you're going to almost all these cities in America. And then he lives in Hawaii. He's
Yeah.
from Harlem. I'm from the city too. I was like, what are you doing in Hawaii? Like we just are so close-minded sometimes that when I saw him and his channel, I was like, wow, you're amazing. Like, I love this guy. And
Yes.
then he went to South Korea
Mm-hmm.
recently. I was like, no, he takes the cake for me. Like,
I
I
know.
admire him so much
I want to
because
be
that's
Jerome
his
when I grow
message.
up. Yeah. I
Yep.
want to be Jerome when I grow up. But yeah, this is what he's doing. He is really seizing the moment. Jerome, shout out
Yes.
to you. But he has a 5-hour layover tomorrow. And and he organized this thing, weeks ago. Like, hey, are you going to be off? Are you available? Maybe we could get together. Because I've met up with him before.
Yeah.
And he's taking a 5-hour layover and making something out of it. That is an example of an ex-Jehovah's Witness really appreciating the moment, appreciating this life that we have. Some people would just sit in the airport and watch a movie or go have dinner or something. But no, he's doing things. He is
Right.
a great example of that.
Yeah, he really is. I would recommend his channel to everybody because he's intentional now. Like he makes plans and he
Mhm.
goes along and he does it. Like that
Yeah.
was another thing I used to hate. The witnesses would make plans and like they would give you this whole extravagant thing and then they wouldn't go or they
Uh,
would cancel the last minute or
yeah.
you would get there and when it was not what you expected, like it was always a little too preachy or biblical and they will bring out Bible games and I'm like, ew, like it will give you that ick. And I was like, no, I'm done with this. I want to do my own thing. And I saw Jerron, like how intentional he was. He means what he says. If he's gonna be there, he's gonna be there.
He
You know
will.
what I mean?
He
Like
will.
I
Yeah,
like that.
he will. He's a great guy. And then Justin from EXJW Diaries too. We had a meetup here. I'm in Washington State, and we had a meetup, and that was so cool. I got to meet him and his wife and the baby, and so we're all going to do an interview. It's going to be about racism within the ex-Jehovah's Witness community and classism, and it was my idea.
Really?
Because I've had people, I had somebody mention it, and I've heard it over time about
Mhm.
this racism. I'm like, what? I
Yeah.
never experienced it, but duh, I'm a white lady, like, of course I didn't. I grew up in a small white town, so
Right.
I
You might
never,
not feel it if maybe you went to a different congregation where you're the minority.
right.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really interesting, and I just wanted to ask him about it. So that's what we're going to interview about.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, we've been here for a while, so that's a great wrap up. You're gonna
1 minute. Or
Yeah,
an
we've been
hour
here
and
for an
1 minute.
hour. Yeah, look how fast that went, right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna have you back on my channel. Most
Oh, that would
definitely.
be fun. That would be fun. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, El. I mean, are there any like final thoughts or anything that you would like to say to everyone, anybody who's
Mhm.
watching or
Yeah, I have to say that you're a lot more powerful and amazing than you could ever imagine. And when you tell your story, you're going to start seeing yourself differently, and you're going to be able to help a lot of people. Just with me filming my story, when I watch it back, it's like I almost kind of fall in love with myself a little bit more. I'm like, dang, look at you, girl. Like, so proud of you. There's something to it. Like, I've connected with myself better, and I've been able to help a lot of people just by telling them my experience. And when we tell our experience, we help people feel less alone. Because I thought for years I was the only one that had this experience, and I wasn't.
Mhm.
And they want to keep us disconnected from each other and not speaking. And when we speak and we tell our stories in a safe place, I just believe it's magical, and so much can come of it. Yeah.
Very nice. Wow. Thank you so much, Elle, for coming on, spending time with me. Because I use these moments like interviews or like, talking to other XJWs. It's like we're spending time together. Like
We
we're
are.
just hanging out and just, yeah, just like genuinely hanging out together. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
didn't experience this before. You know what like I'm experiencing it now, but I'm like, wow, I just love just talking about anything or nothing and just spending time together.
Same.
Like could do wonders, right?
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank
Thank
you so much.
you.